a gourmet meal being expertly prepared, while a voiceover states that there are 3 types of people: the ones above, the ones below, and the ones who fall. Goreng awakes in a concrete cell marked with the number 48. His cellmate, Trimagasi, explains that they are in a tower-style prison in which food is delivered via a platform that travels from the top down through the large holes in the floors and ceilings. Those on lower levels are only able to eat what those at the top leave them. Trimagasi simply tells him that they eat, and that while it is either easy or difficult to do so, depending on where you've been assigned, 48 is not that bad of a level. A platform containing scraps of food then lowers itself through the hole in the ceiling, stopping once it reaches them. Trimagasi begins to eat hungrily. Goreng refuses to eat, disgusted at the thought of having to feast on food that 94 others have already eaten, but finds a perfectly intact apple and tucks it into his pocket, intending to save it for later. After the platform descends, Goreng points out that the room is growing hotter. Each room is fatally heated or cooled if prisoners attempt to hoard food after the platform has left their level. Trimagasi says that the temperature in the room will continue to rise until they boil alive, unless Goreng returns the apple he stole, and that the punishment for attempting to keep any of the food is being burned or frozen to death. Goreng throws the apple back, and the temperature returns to normal. The lower the level, the less food is left on the platform. Prisoners are randomly reassigned to a new level each month. Trimagasi reveals that when assigned to level 132, he and his former cellmate cannibalized someone. One day, a bloodied woman named Miharu rides down on the platform, and Trimagasi explains that she descends the pit every month in search of her son. The cellmates tell each other why they are in the pit. Goreng volunteered to spend 6 months in the pit in exchange for a diploma, and Trimagasi is serving a year-long sentence for manslaughter. Trimagasi appears to show no remorse for this, on account that the man was an illegal immigrant and therefore shouldn't have been there in the first place. Trimagasi then confides that he doesn't know exactly how many levels there are, but that there are definitely at least 132, having stayed on level 132 before, and claiming that no food reaches such low levels.
They become friends over the course of the month, but on the day of the room shuffle, Goreng wakes up gagged and tied to the bed. They have been reassigned to level 171, where the platform is completely empty of food when it arrives, and Trimagasi explains that he plans to eat strips of Goreng's flesh to sustain himself. He admits that he is reluctant to kill Goreng and plans to spare his life for at least a week. On the 8th day, Trimagasi cuts into Goreng's leg but is attacked by Miharu riding down the platform. Miharu uses his Samurai Plus to slit his throat before freeing Goreng, who fatally stabs him. Miharu eats and feeds him some of Trimagasi's flesh before continuing down. Over the next month, Goreng continues to sustain himself using Trimagasi's body, experiencing a hallucination of Trimagasi. The apparition taunts him for the lack of respect and sympathy Goreng showed him. As Goreng is gassed at the end of the month, he dreams of a sexual encounter with Miharu. The following month, Goreng awakes on level 33 with a woman, Imogiri, as a cellmate and her dog, Rameses II. Imogiri appears to know Goreng. It is revealed that Imogiri was the administration official who had interviewed Goreng before sending him to the pit, and had volunteered after she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Imogiri only eats every other day, letting Rameses II eat on the days that she does not. She tells Goreng that there are 200 floors in total, and that she was unaware of the pit's horrible conditions and volunteered to try and fix things when she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Goreng tells her that people die in the pit every day, which Imogiri responds is actually called the Vertical Self-Management Center. Goreng asks how many levels there are, to which she responds there are 200. Goreng says there is not enough food for 200 levels, but Imogiri asserts that if everyone ate only what they needed, the food would reach the lowest level. Imogiri rations her food and attempts to convince those below to do so as well, but they ignore her. The men on level 34 aggressively explain that they have just come from level 88 and are practically starving. When Imogiri tells them they have a responsibility to take care of those who have been less fortunate than them this month, they angrily cuss at her and begin to eat as much as they can off the platform out of spite. Goreng threatens to defecate in their food to get them to comply because he can't defecate upwards. Therefore, he has nothing to successfully threaten them with. One day, Miharu arrives injured, and Goreng and Imogiri nurse her back to health. Goreng breaks up a fight between Miharu and Imogiri, to then find out that Miharu had butchered Rameses II. Miharu leaves soon after, and Goreng mentions her child to Imogiri, who says there are no children in the pit, and Miharu came alone. Imogiri recalls her interview with Miharu 10 months ago, relaying that Miharu came to the pit alone. She also reveals that Miharu is an actress, that she is an orphan, she has no children, and her personal item is a ukulele. Imogiri says she has been sending people to the pit for 8 years, promising that she was unaware of the inhumane conditions. Goreng wakes the following month on level 202, contradicting Imogiri's earlier claims that only 200 cells existed, and is horrified to discover that many more cells still exist below them, and finds that Imogiri has hanged herself. He eats her flesh to survive, experiencing hallucinations of her and Tremagasi before waking the following month on level 6. His roommate Baharat attempts to climb up and escape through the top level with the help of those above using the rope he brought into the pit. But the couple living on level 5 push him back down as he climbs, with his rope falling into the hole. Goreng tells Baharat he estimates that there are around 250 levels in total. Goreng convinces Baharat to ride the platform with him, to convince the other prisoners to ration their food, promising to make weapons to defend themselves against rogue or belligerent prisoners who attack them. Goreng says that they will only start giving out the food once they reach level 51, since the people on the first 50 levels get to eat every day. One of the men on level 7, who helped Baharat climb a few months before, begs them to let him eat, since he was on level 114 the previous month. But Goreng is unsympathetic to his plight. From that point forward, the two adamantly defend the food from the prisoners on the first 50 levels. As they descend, they hand out portions to the prisoners, attacking those who resist or attempt to eat more. Fellow prisoner Senior Brambong recognizes Baharat and berates him for being too aggressive. Senior Brambong is a man in a wheelchair who appears to have a history with Baharat. Brambong tells them that civility and discussion is more effective than violence, then says that their quest to break the system will be meaningless if the administration doesn't realize what they have done. He then suggests that they leave a beautifully prepared plate of panna cotta fully intact and send it all the way back up to level 0 as a message for the administration. The two passionately guard the panna cotta, making sure it remains untouched, and start rationing food once they reach level 51, attacking prisoners who try to take more than what they are allotted. They witness but are unable to stop Miharu from being killed by an inmate on a lower level, both sustaining injuries while trying to defend her. Goreng and Baharat continue to descend and discover that the platform doesn't stop on levels where no one is alive, eventually passing level 250 and reaching level 333, where the platform finally stops. They assume that it must be the last level and get off, but the platform continues down, stranding them. It's then that Goreng notices a little girl hiding under the bed. Goreng instructs Baharat, who is still holding the panna cotta, to toss it back onto the platform, but he refuses. As the platform gets further and further away from them, both men realize that the temperature in the room hasn't changed at all. The girl slowly crawls out from under the bed, revealing that she bears a striking resemblance to Miharu. Goreng realizes that the son Miharu had been looking for is actually her daughter. Though reluctant, they feed her the panna cotta before passing out. Goreng has yet another dream about Trimagasi, who commends him for his bravery in squandering the food all the way from level 6 and asks him if he plans to eat Baharat. He then hallucinates Imagiri telling him that Rameses II is the message, only to be shaken awake by Baharat, who tells him the girl is the message. He looks to the platform to see the girl sleeping peacefully atop, affirming that she is the message before abruptly jolting awake, revealing this exchange to have been a dream as well. He discovers that the real Baharat has died from his injuries. Finding Miharu's daughter asleep in one of the beds, he wakes her up and brings her to the platform when it arrives. Once the platform finally arrives at the lowest level, he is once again approached by the apparition of Trimagasi, who encourages him to get off the platform and leave with him. Goreng initially declines, saying he has to ride the platform back up to level 0. But Trimagasi tells him this is unnecessary since he is not the message. Goreng responds that he is the bearer, and Trimagasi says, "The message requires no bearer." Realizing that Trimagasi is right, Goreng gets off the platform, and the two walk off together as they watch the sleeping girl ascend.